Welcome to Total Spotfest. I'm Jamie. That's JJ, and today we have an amazing guest. The original Gothic Gangster, the devil himself, the big bat, Trever Aeon.
Oh, what's up?
The devil himself. That's fantastic. That's by far my favorite. So, Trever, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, most definitely. We've admired you from the show, so it's good to talk to you a little more intimate now, one-on-one here. For those of you not familiar, not following up the Journey Pro KC here in Kansas City, that's where we have seen Trever. He's scheduled for the upcoming show for February, and we first saw you at Weekend of Journeys, I believe.
Weekend of Journeys, and that's when I got hooked, yeah.
It was so hot that day. Jesus, it was hot that day.
Yeah.
Funny story. That is the second hottest Journey Pro show I've ever been to.
So there's one that's hotter than that. All right.
The show before it was their first show back after the pandemic, right? You know, and it worked out. It was right at 78 weeks, so they did 78 weeks later, right?
Yeah.
And where it's at, you'll see it when you're here later this month, of course. But it's at a coffee shop. It's this real cool industrial area. It's kind of being revitalized, and so you know, you've probably seen pictures. You see how it looks. You know,
There's a glass one there.
Yes, it was. Oh, that's right. You were there last time. I forget. Yeah, yes, most definitely.
I love that coffee shop.
Yeah, Blip is awesome. Right. So you've been to Blip. The day of 78 weeks later, they were the day before they replaced all the windows in there, and they had the AC off for like 24 hours. And those old, like, you know, brick buildings down there. So they had it on a couple hours before, but there's no way in hell it's going to cool down. And it was easily 120 degrees inside there with like no wind movement. Yeah, they were just throwing bottles of water at everybody, and we were just. Jamie sweat through 3 shirts.
2.5. 2.5.
2.5. It was so you were there on a hot day because we were outside in the middle of the day. But at least there was a breeze and shade.
Yeah. And I sweat like crazy, too. So I probably would have melted on that one.
And you're get up and talk a little bit about that here, because you have such a unique look, which Jamie, like I said, Jamie fell in love at first sight here. And he'll explain why momentarily. But, you know, your gimmick and your character lead to not super hot weather appropriate clothing. Let's put it that way.
Nope. I knew what I was getting myself into when I drew all that stuff up. Okay, well, I did it to myself.
So for those not familiar, making a little mention of this, because you're kind of like, I mean, you go by, I know, like, I think for a long time on Twitter, you had like the Gothic Gangster as like your monitor. It's kind of like this kind of vampiric, you know, evil. Like, speak a little bit about how you came up with that and like what your you know your kind of your shoot for is for that.
So hilariously, I didn't come up with the original Gothic Gangster. My homeboy Khalil did, and we were at a Ring of Honor show, and me and another guy, we just helped. We picked him up. We picked up some guys from the airport and dropped them off at the show or whatever. We were gonna help. We were just there to hang out, help out or whatever.
Sure.
Then we could get on, and I was wearing a suit. I was wearing a black suit. And we took a picture, and Khalil captioned it. It's me and this guy and the original Gothic Gangster. And I was like, what'd you just say? What? What is that? Huh, wait a minute. I kind of like that. And then Kenny King saw it and was like, you know what? That is a really good idea. You should keep it. And I'm like, you know what? Y'all might be on to something. I'm going to hold on to that nickname. Now, here's where the nickname, like where he decided to call me that. So I know there's a lot of like dark characters in wrestling or whatever, and a lot of people,
sure,
that's probably their character. For me, it's not. I'm not like, this is normal for me. A lot of the stuff you see me use as interest gear is stuff I wear to the goth club. I'm super, super heavily involved in the goth club. In the goth scene in general. Like, a lot of my favorite bands are friends now. I used to go out a lot more before there was a goddamn pandemic. But,
Right.
but so a lot of the times, like the same concerts and stuff that people will be at, like I'll be there.
Cool.
And I did not know that there were so many wrestling fans in the Goth scene, but apparently Goths like wrestling. Jason from God Module is a big wrestling fan. My friend Ken from this band Amaranth is a big wrestling fan. And like a lot of times my friends will like, hey, do you need an entrance song? Or do you need this? Or do you need this?
Yes, please.
So like I tell people all the time, like everything you see on me isn't just like, oh, this is a wrestling thing. No, this is a real me thing. I just brought it to wrestling.
Right. Well,
It makes my job easier.
Those are always the best gimmicks. I mean,
And it's so funny because originally I was just kind of, just a generic wrestler at first.
right.
And then I played up like my artistic side a little more for how I was before. And that evolved into this.
Okay.
But this was always the plan. Like from day
Cool.
one. I got into business in like 2011, 2010. But I always had an idea of where I wanted to go. I just didn't know how to get there. I didn't know what to do.
The road
And it
is
took
long
some
and
years.
winding. Yeah.
Yeah. I tried a whole bunch of different stuff. I tried a bunch of different kind of gear. And ultimately arrived to like where I am now. It's 2022. So probably like 5 years ago, I kind of got into the mold.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, and to call out what you said, like love at first sight, I feel like that's a bit much. But if I were to create a wrestler, like I want somebody who is a bruiser, who can be technical, and I am a horror movie nerd. Like I just love scary shit, and it's just like, poof, here's Trever Aeon. I was like, that's my guy. like create a character in, SmackDown back in the day. That's you right there, man. Like, Jesus, it's like perfect.
If you know a lion tamer, he would follow you around the nation. I mean, yes.
I mean, don't count it out.
My favorite move of all time. And like we talked to JDX a while back, he does the Chicago Crab, which is a version of the lion tamer. So yeah, so I feel you guys. Yeah, if you could do one, then like I 100% pledge my allegiance to you, sir.
I do. It's funny too that like I have so many moves that I forget that I do certain stuff, and I go back and watch old matches. Like, oh, I do that.
Oh, I can do that.
Why did I stop doing that? Or all the time, I'm like, why did I stop doing that? Huh? That looks really good. What am I doing? It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Well, you said you've been wrestling for a while now, almost like a decade, give or take.
Yeah,
like
yeah. This is my 11th year now of being active. Yeah.
I mean, nice.
Damn.
So I mean, with a bunch of character changes, I assume that your moveset kind of melded into your different characters.
Yeah,
right?
it's changed a lot. Almost nothing I used to do, I do anymore. So every once in a while, I'll go back and watch a match from like 2014, and I'm just like, man, that's a cool move. Why I stop doing that?
I think when you try to do it, like, ooh, I remember why I didn't do that.
Usually, yeah. Like I'll go to training, and I'm just like, hey, I'm gonna try this move, and then I'm like, oh, that's why I stopped doing that.
So what is your current finisher? As much as I hate the term finisher in wrestling, I don't think anybody should win off of one move. What is like that go-to? Is it? I assume like I have an assumption like a crucifix bomb or something of that nature.
So my actual official finishing move is the Scarmaker elbow. It's I put the guy on his knees, I come out of a corner, I jump kind of in an arc and elbow him in the face. What happened was I'm a big Masato Tanaka fan, like a huge Masato Tanaka fan, and I wanted a move between him and Shinsuke because I'm a big Shinsuke Nakamura fan. Right. Shinsuke had a knee, Masato has an elbow, and I was like, I want a move like that where I just get to like knock the hell out of somebody.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to take one of their moves because they're both still wrestling actively, and I was headed for Japan at that point, so I'm like, let me come up with something that's not one of their moves, but is kind of in the same vein. And just from trying different stuff at training, I tried a bunch of different kicks, knees, elbows, punches. I finally, one day, I was in a match and I hit that elbow. Like I used to slide into it on one knee, but I was destroying my gear doing that, so I started jumping. So
gear's expensive.
I destroyed like 3 pairs of pants doing that elbow at first. Yeah.
Damn.
I had like the lady that was making my gear at the time, she had to specifically like formulate the knees on my gear to protect it from the way I slid around. And it's been, I think I started doing that move in like 2015. Because before that it was a DDT. And then before that, I don't remember having a visual back then. I was just like a generic dude who just did pinning combinations.
Power
Schoolboy
or something, right?
Yeah. It's like, the old school, like, ultimate pin and shit like that. Yeah.
Nice. The perfect plex.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, I should start doing that again. Ah, see?
I mean, more moves. We can pull moves out all day.
It looks cool, but yeah.
It does.
It just looks scary on the neck. That's all.
Oh, God, yeah.
So you made mention about, you're on path to going to Japan there, and did you go to Japan? Did you spend much time there?
I did. In October of 2019, I was over there for the Great Moves Company WrestleOne.
Okay.
And COVID kind of fucked up the return trips.
I was gonna say for a short time.
Yeah, I didn't want to come back. I promise you, if I wasn't married, I wouldn't have came back. Like,
you're not the first wrestler I've heard that said that. I've heard even Adam Cole recently has said that if he didn't have like a girlfriend and all the commitments and stuff, that he would be living.
Listen,
he would stay in Japan.
My wife and my cat were the only things that brought me. If she wasn't here, if I was single, I'd still be in Japan. I would be in Japan having this conversation with you right now.
Maybe I should just move to Japan, Jamie. We can do this long distance. We can figure it out.
I mean, I love Japanese wrestling. I'm wearing a freaking Japanese shirt right now of Kenny Omega. But yeah, no, I love Japanese. Yeah.
It's like the Mega Man start screen where it's got all.
That's awesome. I'm a big giant Mega Man fan. So
nice.
Big Mega Man fan. I'm playing through Mega Man X4 right now.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Nice. I love Mega Man. Mega Man 2 was always I don't know why, but Mega Man 2 is my favorite.
They always seem to, Capcom gets into a thing about the second game in the series.
Yeah. And
because Mega Man X2 is like the most perfect Mega Man X game ever. It's so good. And then I tried to play 3 after, and I was like, I don't know about this. 3's kind of.
I know.
3 feels unnecessary, if that makes sense.
It's kind of like, Mega Man 3, like the original Mega Man 3. It felt like I already played this game. It was 2.
Yeah. It was like, why did you make this?
Yeah. And 4 gets a little better, and then they kind of come back around and give you some more good stuff, because by that time they're reinventing it, and X came out, and it's like, okay, that's kind of cool. That X2 was like, wow. And then it's like,
they did the same thing with X2 and 3. Like 3, you're like, what? But 2 is perfect. And then 4 like upgraded everything.
Nice.
I probably
see, like, to your Capcom point, I'm a big Resident Evil guy.
Yeah,
and that's Capcom. Resident Evil 2 is probably one of the best games that's ever been made.
Phenomenal.
Facts.
It's in my top 5.
Yep, same.
It's a beautiful game.
2 and 4.
Yeah.
I would play, like, I still play through 4 right now. Like, I'm playing through it again right now. It takes me forever to play games now, but I'm still playing through it right now.
Right.
So speaking of that, like, you're a busy man, sir. Like, just looking through your resume of 2021, like, you did Dark. Of course, you were Journey Pro a couple times, and I see your mainstay with Pro South Wrestling, and like, you're all over the place. Now, are you looking? What are your goals and aspirations for 2022 when it comes to wrestling?
My main goal is to get my ass back to Japan. That's my main thing. I want to, and I don't necessarily care which company it's for. I don't care if it's Noah. I don't care if it's New Japan. I don't care if it's All Japan. But ideally, I want to regularly be wrestling in Japan.
Okay.
I know I can't stay over there all the time, but on a regular basis, I want that to be a regular thing. I really want to do AEW a few more times, particularly for the goths that like wrestling because they all love AEW, and I really want to do it for them more than I do for myself.
Oh.
And like I have not wrestled on NXT yet. I've been there a bunch of times, but every time I'm there, I never get to wrestle. So I would love to do that at least once. I'm not like a huge contract guy, so that's not really necessarily something I look for. Especially, I'm 35 and 5'11". Yeah, the chance of a slim contract thing.
Right, Vince might put you in a match, but he's not giving you a piece of paper. So.
Yeah, like I'm not expecting anybody to come and give me a contract. If they did, I would definitely make it worth it. But I'm not expecting that. Okay. But I really, I got into wrestling because I wanted an excuse to travel, but I also wanted to work. I didn't want to I should just go see this place because I want to see it. I wanted to have a reason to be there.
Right.
And I got lucky and got to go to Japan, China, and Korea. And I really want to go to England. Haven't been there. Every time I'm about to kind of make something happen, it doesn't work out because of whatever reason.
Great in England, I really do.
COVID screwed it up for me the first time.
Well, true.
Right when I was coming back from Japan, I was talking to a guy and I was trying to work some stuff out, and then COVID decided to ruin that. So, but England, Mexico, and Germany, big deals on my list.
Ooh, you down in Mexico? I mean, they love character work like this.
I think about that all the time. I'm like, man, you imagine if I walked out in all this and ran to Mexico, man.
Oh, I could see you in Monterey coming into the big thing and just they just go ape shit, Oh,
yeah. So it's always been
this. Yeah.
My main goal is to just wrestle everywhere against a lot of different people. I want to see other parts of the world. I want to see other countries, and I've done a little of that. But as far as I'm concerned, that little don't count. I want some more.
Right. Well, you say 35. You still got plenty of years there. Before
I got a good 15 years in me.
Yeah,
and probably more than that. I say 15 because I'm being generous, but realistically speaking, I'll probably be like Muda. You'll probably be stuck with me.
It'll be like Ricky Martin up there, he still wrestles. Good God, Trevor's still out there. Look at that.
And that's why I'll be like, now I'm gonna pull off this Canadian Destroyer.
Oh my God! Yeah. Like Dustin Rhodes.
Right.
So where are you? Where are you training now? I know I talked to JDX. He was in Chicago. He came down. Now he's a part of the Nightmare Factory doing that thing. So where are you training at these days?
So I train at a place called the Underground. That's my trainer, Micah Taylor. That's his school, and it closed down for a while. So for a while, I didn't have a school to train at, and he was just doing personal training. He was training wrestlers. Okay. So during that time, I was training with Robert Gibson, which changed a lot of how I think about wrestling after that. Because if you're a wrestler and you train with Robert Gibson, all your wheels start turning because that dude knows some crazy shit. He's been around for a long time. And the scariest part about it is he really knows how to twist people in the fucking pretzels. So now, Robert's school is actually closed at the moment. And Micah reopened his school. We got a building that I think we're gonna start running shows out of there.
Oh, okay.
But it's so I've been training there. A lot of the Nightmare Factory guys come down and train with us sometimes. That's what I've been doing. I was gonna go to the Nightmare Factory when I moved back to Atlanta, but a whole lot of shit changed before I was able to weasel my way in there. Now I can't weasel my way in there without pain. I was like, oh damn. I was going to when I lived in New York. I was going to Creative Pro. Okay, fun. That was
I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you lived in New York before you moved to Atlanta.
So I actually grew up in Atlanta.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. You're from Atlanta, but you in your travels before you most recently have come back, you were in New York. I know before you hopped on, Jamie, we were kind of talking about that before you were recording here.
Yeah.
So you're up in Long Island, and then doing shows up in the Northeast and East Coast. Now, of course, Atlanta, you're here, been to Journey Pro, well traveled, right? Are there?
Yeah.
we know there's differences in feel and vibe between the different, I don't want to call them territories, but, regions of the country. It's territories. It's the same thing.
They're basically territories.
It's basically the same thing, but different.
Yeah.
But, is there a region or vibe that, what do you notice when you do that? When you're doing like a show in Jersey versus a show in Atlanta versus us here in Kansas City,
Like, it's so weird because people, before I went to the Northeast, people were like, "Oh, you gotta wrestle like this, and like that if you go to the Northeast." And I'm like, "Do I?" Right. I feel like if I do what I do down here good, it's gonna work the same. So a lot of the wrestling that works in the South that people think that that only works in the South, that's not true. Because Darius Carter is a Northeast guy, but he definitely wrestles like an old school Southern heel, and it's amazing everywhere he goes. And I don't think he's ever wrestled down south. Everything he does is Northeast.
Okay.
There are some shows where things are different, where you have to kind of do things different. We used to not have, the one thing about the South, it's changed now, but we used to not have like a super indie style kind of show where trying to think of a show that's up north that kind of has that like we didn't have a CZW type thing down here.
Right.
Okay.
And every time we had one, we didn't have it for long.
It was like, we're starting up, and after 2 shows, like, that's it.
And then it's gone. You'd have it for like 6 months, and then it's gone. Whereas Northeast has like CZW, and like we don't really have we don't have like a big death match thing down here.
Right.
Which I always thought was weird.
GCW is based out of Jersey,
Yeah. I think they're coming here this year, finally.
I think I saw that they're coming. I want to say March. Honestly, I think they're coming to Atlanta for their weekend.
I've never been to one of their shows, so I'm probably going to go just because I've never been.
We
went
to one. We went to All Out Weekend up in Chicago this past year, and we went to. We didn't go to the War Games. We went to the night before when we rolled into town to GCW's 3 Cup Stuffed show. Loved it. It was great because, on the outside, you look at it and you think, deathmatch shit, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But there's more to it than that.
Yeah. They have lucha, they have all types of wrestling. It was so good. And the crowd there was so eclectic. Yeah. I fucking loved it.
That's awesome. And I know a lot of their guys. I know Effie, I know AJ Gray.
Yeah.
I've been on shows with like a lot of those guys. For GCW's never around when I'm around. So I just had the opportunity to just go to the show when it was close by.
Right.
And 2 years in me would just fly myself to wherever they are. 10 years in married me is like, hey, you should probably be a little smarter about doing things like that. But I'm a big Brian Danielson said in some interview recently where he said if you show somebody like excellent professional wrestling, they'll love it. Like excellent professional wrestling will always look good to anybody, no matter what. I 100% believe that. And between the Northeast and the Southeast and the Midwest, if you show people great wrestling, they're gonna eat it up regardless. And I've noticed that I get the same kind of reactions everywhere I go. There hasn't been really a place where I went where they were they didn't react to me at all.
Right. Like what is
sometimes I get reactions I'm not expecting. Journey Pro shocked the hell out of me because I was like, when did people start liking me? What's happening?
This guy. I was yelling. Oh my God. Yeah.
I came out, I'm like, these people don't know who I am. Oh God. And then I came out, I was like, oh damn. Wait, y'all were waiting to see me? Okay, well, thanks.
Well, we're close with the guys who run Journey Pro. Full disclosure. Before shows, we usually have one of them interview on. We have one set up before the next show. Actually, Chris is going to be joining us before the next show.
Oh, cool.
And we like to he's coming on. We want to do the pleasure, so we do the research and see who's coming up and. Mm-hmm. People we're going to watch some of their matches because that's a good looking character. So that's Well, I'm glad to hear that because it's kind of we back in the day, Kansas City, Harley race, that whole thing, right? And then lately, Midwest has pretty much been Chicago and fuck everybody else, kind of thing. So I think it's good.
Yeah.
St. Louis is good. Kansas City's kind of getting back up there with more indie promotions. Omaha's got some good stuff. Iowa's killing it right now. So I'm glad to hear that. Cool.
It actually makes me feel like I should probably spend more time in the Midwest.
There's a shitload in Chicago, and St. Louis actually has got quite a bit too.
I haven't been to Chicago yet, and that's one of the places on my list. And because I've covered half the United States.
I was gonna say it's like you've been wow,
whole East Coast, Texas, Louisiana. Just for some reason, California, Seattle, Chicago, and Ohio are all like escaping me. I don't know what the story is with them. But I specifically want to go to Seattle because my friend from God Module, this band that I listen to, he lives there and he just wants to see me wrestle live. And I'm just like, I wish somebody would book me in Seattle so I could go over there.
It's like give him a little nudge, like, hey, you know some people, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, speaking of the South and big indies, I really feel like there was the beginning of one, and that was Terminus. Like that very first show of Terminus was amazing.
Yeah, it was
loaded. It's fucking loaded.
I was going to go, but the weather was screwed up my travel, and I didn't get back to Atlanta until late. I was coming back from Wrestlers Lab in New Jersey, and our flight got delayed like 5 times.
Oh man!
It was supposed to leave at 6, and then 6 turned into 10, and then 10 turned into 12, and then 12 turned into 2.
Oh god!
Because there was a snowstorm or whatever happening in Georgia.
Right. Yeah.
It was the craziest thing too, because I was on the plane and I couldn't see out the windows. It's like I had the window up and it was just white. Couldn't see anything. I was like, how do you fly in this? I 100% respect airplane pilots because that was crazy. Like I couldn't see a damn thing.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, if something reaches out of these clouds and grabs us.
There's something on the wing.
Right. There's a gremlin.
Yeah. So Terminus in town. I mean, hopefully you can get in on that one because that's a great spot. Jonathan Gresham, I think, is doing some great things there. It looked amazing, and hopefully you can get on that because that's the big indie that everybody wants in their territory, or in their area. And I feel like a big indie, or super indie, whatever you want to call them. I think that's a great one. But I did want to pivot really quick because in our research of you, we did notice that you had a manager at one point in time, and it seems like that manager is full time with you nowadays. Is there any thought of the wife coming out to Kansas City when you face Mr. Jeremy Wyatt?
So here's what's hilarious about that. I technically have 3 managers. I have
Nice.
3 managers technically. So I'm in a group called the Left Hand Path, obviously named after me being hardcore satanic. So the leader of the group, everybody thinks I'm the leader of the group. I'm not the leader of the group. I'm just the one you see the most. The leader is a person named Matthias Darkthorn, but they don't travel as much.
Oh,
because
okay.
they have parents to take care of and stuff, so they can't really leave as often. And then, so all of my entrance gear, all of my like leather stuff is made by technically a company called Beautiful Madness, but my other manager, Taliaferro, who I never get to work with anymore because the company we were working with each other at shut down.
Okay.
But his wife makes all my leather stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then my jacket. So I have 2 right now. It'll probably be 4 by the time this year's over. I'm spending so much money. But so I have two leather jackets. One's a long vest that used to be a coat, but we sliced off the sleeves and covered it in spikes. Oh. And then that black and gold jacket I was wearing at the last Journey Pro.
I remember that.
A company from England made those for me.
Oh.
And then Taliaferro's wife makes all my leather stuff. So my hat.
She made that coffin
horns,
backpack you had.
The backpack I have. Yeah, she made all that.
That's why I knew you were. That's why I knew you were legit. Walking out and he has this. I was like, no,
she is incredible.
It's like he's not gimmicky. That's him.
No, yeah. The hilarious thing about me in that bag, because Simon Grimm said it at the show in Florida last month. He was like, "So you just got that bag because you want it, because no one sees that bag but us. Like the fans don't see that bag. Like, you know, if I like you see it on Instagram if I take a picture, but realistically speaking, you never see it. I just got that because I'm like, oh.
You like it. It's good.
Yeah, and then of course I have my wife. Who my wife has a whole slew of things she does. She's a streamer. She's a published author. She has like a full-time job. She's working on a new book right now. So she's really, really busy. So she can't always be with me. So, I try to have her with me for special moments or big occasions. Like I think the last time she walked me to the ring was, July when I faced Trish for the Pan Africa title at Battle Club in Brooklyn. I think that was in Brooklyn. I think can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was Brooklyn. But yeah, I try to have her block off time for special occasions like that. Okay, just for the optics. So hopefully one of these days she'll
that'd be cool.
She'll have time to come and do Journey Pro with me too. It's always a fun. That's always a fun time. She, because no one's ever expecting that. Because you never see her. She's not like she kind of is because she's on stream, but you don't get to see her like that. Right, she's walking the screen. Yeah,
it's cool.
She's over there looking at me right now.
Yeah, we're talking about you. We're talking good.
Yes, you hit the jackpot, sir, because she's like busy as hell.
I back way out kick my coverage.
So Jamie, don't worry about it.
Don't know how I did that.
I did too. I don't know how I did either. Lucky, I guess. It's our charming personality, sir.
Yeah.
No
I'm funny sometimes.
Yeah.
No, good.
I was gonna say, all right. So let's go ahead and talk about Journey Pro. You're gonna be at the Love Down Under or below. Love Below. Like I think it was as above, so below. That's kind of where I got it from. Like, okay, so you're facing off against Jeremy Wyatt, and now Jeremy Wyatt and I have a little bit of a history, and I just want to let you know.
Uh-oh.
He says a little bit. He's undershooting it there a smidge. Just a lot.
It's been about 4 years. But anyway, so if you've been to a Journey Pro show, I know you've heard this somebody yelling "Lion Tamer" really loud. That's me, and I yell at Jeremy Wyatt because he never does one, and it's this big thing. I basically I want him to either do one or tell me to fuck off in my face. Like it's how it goes. And then as soon as I get any kind of reaction out of him, it just gets cranked to 11. Like, oh no, like you recognize me, it's over now. Like it's like I keep going. So I will ask this question with you and Jeremy. So this is your first time facing him, and what do you know of Jeremy?
My first time becoming aware of him is that he got into it with the guy who runs GCW on Twitter, and I was like, I respect the fuck out of that guy for talking his shit and not caring. He was like, look, I don't give a fuck, and I was just like, whoa, it's kind of like me. God damn. All right, I like that. And then I started watching his matches just because of that. I was just like, okay, I gotta watch his matches because that's pretty cool. And he's a fantastic wrestler. He did the Scenic City Invitational in like Tennessee down here in the South. That's a big like tournament thing for the Southeast. And I was really excited that they had him on there just because I don't know if he's ever wrestled down here, so I don't think these people have been exposed to him like that. Because I didn't know who he was until that little GCW spat, and I came up on that by accident. Like that was I was just on Twitter at the right time, and the right person retweeted it, and I saw it. So I do know that I don't think he's ever been beaten at Journey Pro before. Now that I think about it. Which
No.
yeah,
not
yeah,
not a Journey Pro technically.
yeah. That's why I was like, oh god, all right, well here we go.
He doesn't have his he so Journey. This is your guys' match is part of the tournament, if I'm not mistaken, right? So, he is currently the champion. Jeremy is of Dynamic Wrestling Federation, which is a brand new promotion here in Kansas City. It opened up. I think we went to their last show. It was their third show, so they've been just new.
Yeah.
But he was the inaugural champion for them. He was the champion for St. Louis Anarchy, one of the St. Louis promotions that's got a good relationship with Journey Pro. So he was the gateway here. He lost he lost at Anarchy's show to Gary J. He lost the belt, but he has not lost officially in Journey Pro. So hey, now's as good a time as any.
Until February 18th. Until February 18th. You gotta beat him. You gotta beat him.
It's fantastic. This goes deep. I gotta tell you, Trevor, because it all started when we went to our very first NWL show. So pre-Journey Pro, the promotion that was before Journey Pro, which became, mostly, migrated into Journey Pro. We go to this, and one of the guys is in the main event. He comes out for a promo before that, of course, and he's good, just, kind of fit-looking, normal, build sort of guy with big lions on his trunks. Calls himself the Monarch, and Jamie's like, he has to do a lion tamer. It was that alone that started this goddamn thing. And here we are 4 years later, and he got close to him a couple times. He got at the show they did after the show where you were at, the one we were at outside the first show. The next show we were at a softball the field. It was a real cool atmosphere, right?
Yeah, it was.
In the middle of it, he got him to turn around and stop the match. He goes, "Would you shut up about the damn lion tamer?" And Jimmy just like patted me on the arm. Was like, "I got him."
It's like I'm really free in his head right now. Let's go. Yeah.
But now I have to put him in one.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And JDX started to put him in one at Die Hard 2 is also a Christmas movie and is the greatest Christmas present. But now I'm looking for a Valentine's present.
So very low bar to clear there to get over that. No offense, JDX. We love you, but
yes, we would love to see you tap him out to a lion tamer personally. It's a royal we.
And I haven't used it since 2014. So
bust it out. It's
well rested. It's well rested. But regardless, lion tamer or no, Jamie is all lion tamer. I'm whatever. You're
a Spanish fly guy. If you can do a Spanish fly, he's your guy.
Flippy spinny shit. So any flippy spinny shit you do, I'll like. But I'm more versatile. Jamie prefers his lion tamer. That's his What's your favorite?
Japanese strong style and
spinny shit in there just because.
Yeah. Any flippy.
I don't have a lot of it, but I have some.
You really can't do a whole lot of blip though.
No, I don't think anybody could do a Spanish fly unless we had a little person match because there's just not the headspace there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the ceiling. Yeah,
you might want. You've got like a 2-foot clearing. I remember. KLD and Kenny Alfonso, they had they tried to do and almost brought down the entire light fixture. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I don't want to do that to them.
So just be safe. Don't be going to the rafters. All right, so we will definitely be seeing you at Journey Pro, like we said, on the 18th of February.
Yes.
And hopefully the month after, to go on in the next step of the tournament and so forth. Yeah. See where it goes. And then I'm just looking over here. And besides that, what else do you have upcoming show-wise that any listeners out there, if they're not in Kansas City, might be able to?
I'm in Georgia this Saturday for a company called IWN. I don't know how new that company is. I think they're pretty new, but I'm wrestling Landon Hale. They just did a big Southeast first show at Action Wrestling here, and
Okay.
he had a big standout match there. So that'll be a fun match. He's super flippy, so I'm gonna have to throw him across the ring like 450 times.
use that elbow you were talking about,
Mhm.
man. Yeah.
It only takes one usually, so as long as he don't flip out the way, I should be okay.
Nice. Yeah, there you go.
And then I have one that's a surprise that I can't talk about yet.
Oh, surprise!
Ooh.
Yeah, it's I can't even say what it is because if I say what it is, it'll give it away. But it's in February, and no one's expecting it, and it's gonna be pretty wild. I'm actually really excited.
Well, this interview comes out like if you're listening to this, it is the 8th of February, so it has not happened yet. Follow Trever on social media, I guess, to figure out.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'm pretty sure people are gonna be like, "What?"
I'm super excited.
Yeah,
awesome.
I'm excited. I'm really excited about that. So we make plans at LLC.
Nice.
Okay.
And then
18th year here in Kansas City.
and
And
then what else? What else is there? What else is going on this month that I can talk about? Oh God, I can't talk about any of this. Jesus.
okay,
All right, so everything else is a secret.
So lots of things, but nothing that can be said, which is
There's things happening, but I can't say anything.
I almost like that even more. I like that almost like that more, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna keep plugging away at my contacts and sending stuff off because I'm trying to. The second I can like leave the country, I'm trying to get back to Japan,
out the door,
and then hopefully finally to England, Germany, and Mexico.
So if you're out there and you know somebody or you are a contact that, I know we have some listeners over in Europe. Hey,
Listen,
We have a listener in Japan. We have a couple listeners that are actually in Japan, just for the record.
let's make it happen. Let's
Apple.
Let's get Trever overseas.
yeah. And then like whoever's in England, if you look out for when Whitby Goth Weekend is.
Yeah, so if we can really make it work, let's book around that so we can get. Yeah,
you just book me around like festivals where I want to see bands. You'll never get rid of me.
Oh, that would be the best.
Fingers crossed that every time I come to Kansas City, I run into Tech Nine every single time.
It's a pretty
Great
good
dude. I've met him 3 times, and he's like the coolest guy.
Oh,
Darian said the same thing. Darian's like, the more you come here, the more likely you might run into him.
I mean, he is the nicest guy. He will talk. Yeah, the nicest guy.
I met him at SmackDown. So we were at SmackDown at the now it's called the T-Mobile Center. Back then it was the Sports Center, and like I had a buddy who worked there, so I got through the Founders Club thing. And he just walks in, and like my daughter and I are sitting there just waiting. He just walks by, I'm like, "Oh, hey, it's Tech Nine," and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he actually sat and talked to us for like 10 minutes about wrestling and life and how are things and all this stuff.
You
and
know he was
like,
a wrestling fan. Damn.
Yeah, I'm like,
you never know. I tell people this all the time because I swear I've been actively part of the goth community since like 2022, since like 2007, and no one has ever brought up wrestling to me. And all of a sudden now I'm like, wait, so all my favorite bands are wrestling fans? When did that happen?
Like overnight, right? Yeah.
I'm like, how come y'all never brought this up before? Because that's pretty goddamn cool. So like, it's like people you're a big fan of are fans of you, and you're just like, how do you know who I am?
Hear you.
that is cool.
That is awesome.
You'd be surprised at how much came of just me being on AEW for 3 minutes.
Oh, like, I don't doubt it. I mean, that's
I like a lot of. It's so funny, and none of it was wrestling related. It wasn't wrestling.
Oh,
people.
really?
It was all folks from the goth scene. They were like, "Hey, we want to interview you," and I'm like, "You do? Why
interview me?"
Yeah, I'm like, wait, y'all like wrestling? But then that gives me an excuse to talk about goth music. So it's always
see there you go.
Yeah, it's great. That's why I was like, I had no idea, but okay, no complaints here. I like the meeting between the things I love kind of happening like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I kind of like interesting things like, I know, off the top of my head, I mean, GCW, it does like their emo show, right? Where it's all
I
like,
saw that.
like emo bands and like, I enjoy like the mixture of stuff like that because it's like, that's cool. It's different, right? Because
I
like
wish there were enough goths in wrestling for me to do that, but
I mean,
there's like 3 of us. It's me, and like Darby Allin, and Ava Lawless, and that's it.
That's it.
To be fair, Simon Grimm knows his goth music. Like he does. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know how much he knows, but he knows some shit. Because every once in a while he'll like tweet me like, "Hey, I'm listening to New Order," and I'm like, "You are? Oh, all right." One of my favorite people to share a locker room with. Like cool. He's fucking brilliant all the time.
Awesome. Jamie, you have a little thing prepared for our guest.
I do. I really do. So we like to play this little game called Feud, Faction, or Fire. It's basically like FMK.
It's an impossible game, as we like to call it. Too.
Yeah. So it's like the FMK version of wrestling. So for you, it's Feud, Faction, or Fire, Vampire Edition. Thought that'd be fun for you, since I know your wife's into vampires and stuff. So I figured you might be as well.
I hate vampires, but that's okay. We're still gonna do
that. Man, damn. Okay. Well, I was thinking. So this is what I got. So I'm gonna give you 3 names. You gotta tell me who you'd feud with, who you'd faction with, and who you'd fire. Like they're just gone. They don't have existence. They never existed. That vampire's gone. Obviously, I'm not gonna do Dracula because that's very obvious. So we're gonna do Blade, Lestat, and Akasha, the woman from Queen of the Damned. Just in case you didn't know.
Jesus,
Ashanti.
You're gonna make me like. So I got like the hot girl, and like the badass black dude, and I hate Lestat. So we're just gonna fire Lestat on.
He's out. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone.
Lestat's fired because Dracula from Castlevania is cooler than him, but Lestat's fired.
That's true.
So you know what? Since Lestat's fired, me and Blade are gonna feud over Akasha. Since Blade doesn't know how to fight demons, he's probably gonna get his ass beat. But but maybe in the end, we decide to form a team and we bring the demons and the vampires together.
There you go. That's awesome.
That would make one of my tag
team partners happy. To Feud, Faction, or Fired. I like it.
Nice.
Well, since that one didn't go quite as Jamie was hoping.
Yeah, just not so much.
There's another one we like to do as well. So another impossible game. One I like to play up there is the Desert Island game. So you're on a desert island. There may be other people. There may not. I don't know. Put whatever thought you want in your head. But for whatever reason, you're here for the foreseeable future, probably forever, and you get to choose the soundtrack. Now, your stipulations are as such. You get to choose 2 albums. One album is played all the damn time. All day, every day, whatever you want. All the time, right? The second album can be played once a year. Period. End of sentence.
Jesus.
I know. Impossible, right?
Yeah.
What are your 2 albums?
This might be the hardest question ever.
I know. If you're a big music fan, it's tough it was tough for us.
Yeah. Okay, so this is how I cover this. So The Wake's 9 Ways will be the album that always plays like all the time.
Every day, okay.
Because 1, because I never get tired of it. And 2, because I've listened to it 150 times and I still haven't picked out all the noises in it.
Yep.
And then I get to have goth rock around the clock. It's perfect.
Exactly.
Now this is the hard one because either I get to have like an industrial album or I get to have a hip hop album, and I can't find anything that's like a great combination of the 2. So I'm like,
hip hop out there.
So this is like a decision between like KMFDM and Tech Nine. What do I do? Oh God! You know what? Okay, once a year, I'm gonna ask to hear. I'm gonna ask to hear Ever Ready from Tech Nine, so I can be lit for the day. Yeah.
That's your
And
palate
those two albums are different enough that I'll feel like I'm getting as much of my like musical gamut as I can get.
You see, and we've gotten that with almost everybody, including ourselves, has a little bit of variance. You want to break it up a little bit, right? The only one that didn't was our buddy Mike, that's one of the guys at the Boozers, Breakdowns, and Beards podcast. He chose one Metallica album and then another Metallica album.
I almost did that. I was almost like, you know what? Just play a whole bunch of Susie and the Banshees and leave me alone. But
yeah, well, cool.
I need I like the variants.
You got, especially if you think about it, even your favorite album, all day, every day. You got to hear something different sometime, right?
Yeah, you got to take a break from it. And I'm a big like I get addicted to especially music. Like if I like a song, I'll listen to that same song 40 times back to back. So if it's an album that I like, I could play that album for months.
Yep.
But still, eventually, you're just like, okay, I got to take a break from this, even if it's only for a week or a couple days, something.
Jamie had a very good one when we did yours. What did you talk about your palate cleanser album?
Oh, yeah. So my everyday was Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. I feel like that's just nice, mellow. I'm going to be on a beach all day, so I'm going to be kind of chill, and hopefully there's some things that I can...
I said it was a deserted island. I didn't say it was a deserted tropical island, but
whatever.
Sure.
There's probably stuff I could burn. And then my once a year, I wanted something to make me laugh, and it was Steel Panthers Feel the Steel.
That's fair. Yeah.
Completely different.
That's a good experience.
I understand. Yeah.
Mine was a bit more kind of like on point, being, as like it was Rage Against the Machine, self-titled. My favorite album of all time. That's my shit.
You can't fucking go wrong with that.
That's my shit. I've listened to that thing probably 1,000 times. I can listen to it 1,000 times
fucking
more.
Fantastic album.
Mm-hmm.
But my once a year thing was kind of like, because I remember growing up, my dad was in the Beatles and kind of got me into Led Zeppelin, which was my first entrance into rock and metal, and then what I became. So I said Zeppelin 4 would be my once a year.
Those are all good choices. Hell yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. So, all right, as we always say for you there watching and listening, give us a comment down below. What are your albums? We want to hear them again.
Mm-hmm.
And do you hate Lestat as much as we do?
He's
kind of a bitch.
Funny thing is,
and you know what it is? You know what it is too? Like, and I was telling my wife this, because obviously my wife writes vampire books. So I was telling her about like the vampires from stories that I liked, and all of the vampires that I enjoyed, with the exception of Vampire in Brooklyn. That was a movie. But
sure.
They're always vampires from video games, because so when I started watching movies, this is after I've already played the Castlevania game. Uh-huh. So the vampire in the movie is garbage compared to fucking Dracula and Castlevania,
right?
Where he can like end the whole world if he feels like it, or like Dimitri from Darkstalkers, who's basically fucking Goku but a vampire. Like they're all like super gangster and they can fuck you up real fast, and they're not like crying over their lost love or whatever. Well, Dracula from Castlevania is, but he can also like literally split the planet in half. So it's just like, yeah, there's a big difference between like the vampires in video games and then like the vampires in the movies, where they tone down like all their powers.
Right.
The game, especially if they're the boss of the game, that motherfucker can do everything.
Exactly.
Because Dracula was a pain in the ass in every
game. They don't have to worry about your creative license and selling T-shirts and shit. I don't know what the fuck ever, but
just it's weird too, because now like when I watch vampire movies, they kind of mess me up, because I'm just like, man, but he's so weak. But he can't do anything. It's like Dimitri would melt him. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. You vampire ain't shit.
Right. He's like, oh, you're scary vampire, not compared to that guy.
No, you ain't. You ain't nothing. Well,
Anime vampires are super like crazy overpowered too. Like
I've never really been an anime guy. I never really got. I don't know.
Oh man, I love Vampire Hunter D. That was like one of my favorite ones.
Goddamn anime. I was big into like American comic books growing up, and Marvel and DC kind of started rubbing me the wrong way. The other companies outside of them, I kind of stayed into. Like Spawn's like my number one everything. So big Spawn guy. I love the Darkness, Witchblade. Like I probably read a lot of Image shit.
I was
Image
just going to ask you talking about Spawn.
Yeah.
See, I got really big into him because of Spawn, because I saw the Spawn cartoon when I was like super young, and then that got me into. Oh, that's okay, cool. Oh wait, what else is on this? Oh crap! Oh, there's this. Oh, I mean, I knew The Walking Dead like years before they announced the first episode.
So I was actually excited for that show when they made it because I'm just like, they can't. There's no way they can mess this up. Like,
I was stupid excited, and for the first like few years, I was in it. Right?
It was great at first,
and then after like season 5, you're like, oh, okay.
But you know what? The same thing happens with the comic. Like
it does
after the prison, it starts to just You're like, okay.
When they get to Alexandria at first, it's okay, cool, and then it keeps going, and then they have the big shock at episode 100 or issue 100 when you bring Negan in, and that's the big shock, right?
And then you're just like, okay, now what?
It's like okay, copy paste another evil group, copy paste another evil group.
Yeah, the Whisperers, and it's just ridiculous
to the point where it's like not fun anymore.
Which I mean, I'm glad they brought to an end. That's one of my things I do like about some of the more independent comic books that you read out there. You know, things that I loved about like Why the Last Man and a bunch of other ones that I've read as well. Lock and Key, stuff that's now being made into TV shows and shit. But
that they ended.
They had an end. There was a definitive. I mean, I'm a Batman guy, of course, right? So I got the Batman thing.
I see. My wife is too. She fucking loves Batman.
Hell yeah. I mean, you got to. But it's like, it's never going to end. There'll be Batman long after I'm dead. New Batman issues coming out. Whereas,
it'll still be Bruce Wayne doing the same shit somehow.
2075. Here's Bruce Wayne in his like flying car and flying Batmobile, avenging his parents who were shot with a laser blaster when he was just a poor little child. And
it's one of the things I like. I think I started reading manga when I was like 13 or so. And that's one of the things I liked about manga initially is that growing up reading Spider-Man and shit, Spider-Man never ended. It was over and over again. All the damn time. Well, Dragon Ball Z ends. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then you just get to sit there and be like, oh, that was cool. Man. And you can rest with it and digest it and move on to something else.
You can do a different thing and then you can revisit the story. It's like, oh, I liked how that story. You could start it anew, knowing it ends, but you start to finish, right? It's different.
They can't ruin it by adding the bunch of shit that don't make no sense. They stuck in there to kind of because they ran out of ideas or whatever. Like I would prefer like my series like end as opposed to them going on for like a bajillion years.
Yeah.
Am I sad that Dari is over? Yeah, but at the same time, I can just go back and watch it again.
Yeah, I hear that.
Like my favorite piece of media in general, I probably said this in a million interviews. Yeah. I'll probably say it in a million more because I refuse to ever stop talking about this show. But my favorite piece of media in anything ever is Aeon Flux. Hence my name being Trever Aeon.
Aeon. I thought that's what it was, but I didn't want to assume, Okay.
Most people don't pick it out, but like I literally took Trevor Goodchild and Aeon Flux and combined their first names.
There you go.
And like I've rewatched that show a million times. I can recite the episodes by heart, and I don't ever want them to continue it. I don't want to see. Nope, I'm good. It was perfect.
The movie pissed you off.
Oh God, it made me want to.
Oh, that movie is garbage.
It's so bad. It's funny too because the dude that made Aeon Flux said that that series was supposed to kind of fly in the face of like American like action movies and action heroes
Right.
and stuff. For you to take the thing that was supposed to satire that or fly in the face of it and just kind of turn it into
Just
it,
do that. Yeah, it's like
you kind of missed the point of the series.
I know. Well, I first thought, how are they going to do this as a movie? There's no way they can. And then I saw the trailer, like,
That's
oh,
what I
they're
said.
not. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Nope. They're just gonna call it that and then just tack a
Just do
random
whatever
story.
the hell they want.
Gotcha. Yeah, because the only way that's gonna be made into a movie is if the guy who made Aeon Flux does it himself.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna be like
Yeah.
anything. It's not gonna be like a regular movie. It's probably gonna be ridiculous. She's probably gonna die 12 times or something because that's what
It's gonna be like
that's it.
mainstream. It's not gonna come out mainstream. It's gonna be VO.
Nope.
It's gonna be people will not.
And it'll probably have
get
a cult following just like the show does, but that's about it.
Maybe that's what it deserves. So,
But yeah, if it's gonna be done, he has to do it because that's his baby and he understands it better than everybody else. Like there's so much stuff in that show that I didn't catch watching it as a teenager and then watching it again in my 20s, and now I'm still 35 and I'm like, man, I ain't even noticed that when I watched it when I was 20. Damn. So yeah, that's my favorite piece of media across just about anything. Like that show changed the way I see like TV shows and shit. It probably fucked me up because now I'm just like, now
well, it is inspiration for half your wrestling names. I mean, it definitely has that.
Yeah.
So all right,
hell, I think it should be named after the last episode. The very last episode of the show is called In Sinister, and my DDT was called that.
Damn. That's a deep cut.
That's real deep there. I'm just thinking, do you do a flux capacitor? Because it'd be Trever Aeon Flux capacitor. No, but I mean that works too.
Yep.
All right. Well, we got to get moving along here. So I do want to thank Trever. Thank you for your time here. We want to turn it over to you for a little bit because this is your time. Please feel free. Plug whatever you want to. How to get a hold of you? What are your socials? Whatever. It's your time, Trever. So plug away.
Party. So I'm super easy to find on everything because my name is the same on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's Trever Aeon at Trever Aeon. Trever is spelled Trever because it's a reference to time, as is my last name because my last name's Aeon. Aeon is spelled Aeon, not Eon, because it's the old ass spelling, and I stole it from the cartoon. Sue me. Also, there's a lot going on my YouTube channel. I am generally always telling stories, whether I am booked to wrestle and do things or not. Trever Aeon, youtube.com/Trever Aeon official. Everything's labeled, numbered, because I stole the numbering system from Nine Inch Nails' Halo numbering system for the albums and songs. So they are labeled in a specific way that it's actually leading you somewhere if you watch them all. I've been doing that since 2015, so there is a lot on there. But if you want to see how I became how I am now, you can actually literally go back and watch that. I just ended the thing that I was doing before like a week ago. I think I posted the last video last week. So there's something new coming. I haven't nailed down everything that I want to do yet. But yeah, that's a thing that's happening. Support the goth scene. Listen to goth music. If you need a playlist and you don't know what the hell that means when I say goth, then by all means, hit me up on Twitter, or Instagram, or Facebook, or whatever, and I will send you 1,000 playlists and 1,000 bands because that's all I listen to anyway outside of like industrial and hip hop. So by all means, hit me up if you don't know what I'm saying. When I say the word goth, I will help you out because I 100%
your musical
want
horizons, please.
Yeah. The more people that know about it, the better. So,
absolutely.
And the more I can dispel misconceptions, the better for my scene, the better for club nights, so I don't have people coming up to me trying to ask me to play Lil Peep because they don't work like that. So by all means, I think that's all my stuff.
Okay. Well,
that's all my stuff.
links will be down below if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening to us, please follow. Give a Google if you can't find it, but down below for everything. Give him a subscribe, give him a follow. While you're down there, give us a like and a subscribe too. If you're listening to this for the first time, we do this as many Tuesdays as we can. We will be back next Thursday, so 2 days from now, with our weekly podcast show. So please rejoin us, and you can join us in person if you live in Kansas City or you want to travel to beautiful Kansas City, Missouri on February 18th for Journey Pro's The Love Below. Did I get that right? Love Below? Is that right?
Yeah, it's named after the Outcast album. Woo!
The Love Below show on February 18th. Tickets available at journeyprokc.com. Trevor, thank you immensely for your time. We do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamie, do you have anything else?
No, man, this was great. A lot of fun. And I'm right there with you. About Lestat.
He's still a bitch.
Fuck
Yes.
Lestat. All right, take us home, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down to Spotfest, I got 2 words for you. Fuck Lestat.
Fuck Lestat.
Fuck you, Lestat. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.